Morning, Mayor. We're ready? Thank you for being here at the regular meeting of the Salle County Commissioners Court. It's August 9th, 2021. It's 10:10 a.m. We are at the LaSalle County Courthouse, 101 Courthouse Square, here in Cotulla. We have a full quorum. If we could rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Is there any public comment? Can you hear me? Well, here. Oh, it's working. Is there any public comment? We do have and have for a long time adopted rules of decorum, which outline how we conduct our meetings, how the public can participate in the meetings, and how each commissioner is allowed to bring an item to the agenda as well. So we've had it adopted since I started 2003. We received it from Mr. Bass, from Allison and Bass, and we updated and it controls the way we conduct meetings. So we've been following. I think you still have the participation forms there. So, and that's why that came about. So it gives the public an input, and it also gives us the process to handle when you have very hot meetings with a lot of people, designating spokesman to allow us to continue with other business. Number 4, discussion possible action to authorize Texas Historical Commission grant application for funding. We've been invited to apply for additional funding for courthouse, and I know we've done ours, and I checked with Killis to see what possibly we could apply for, and he said this would be a good grant to go for the update of the HVAC, new computer control, and I hope the creation of the master maintenance manual. I am ready to help and create the documents for the application. They've given us some time to coordinate and clarify their guidelines so that we can do this. County got a good report with maintenance inspections, so they know we are willing to try to keep it in good condition, you know. So Mr. Almond said that he'd be, interested in applying as well, and he's very well known by the Historical Commission. So the key is, do we want to submit for a grant application to get it started? That's.
I'll make the motion, Judge.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Yavis. And we have like 120 wells in the parking lot. It needs maintenance. It's been a while now. It's been, when it first started with Mark, 2008, 2009 is when they drilled the wells. So this would give us a good chance to have an opportunity to, revisit that and see what else we can do to fix it. I mean, not fix it or maintain it. We have those wells cool the system and run our HVAC, so if any of it is worn out because of the type of water, because it's brine, it would allow us to fix it or update it. So I think it's good to apply for this type of money when it's available. You know, we'll have to get an estimate for the grant application, but once we do that, I mean, we'll have an idea. Yes, sir.
Can you confirm that HVAC work and fixtures and fittings that actually post-date construction of the original courthouse will fall under that grant? That they will fund something that is not in keeping with the original design, which you worked so hard.
Right.
You worked so hard to get the original design replicated when you redid the building.
Well, the HVAC, yes, and you're right. When they built this courthouse, there was no such thing as central air or any type of cooling. So that's why you have a lot of windows, and above the doors you have those, what do you call those doors above the doors? But they vent the air. So it was designed to flow, for air to flow. However, the Historical Commission allowed us to make modifications for the HVAC, and they excavated underneath the courthouse, and they put in about 120 wells in a parking lot. And that water is like a radiator. It cools the courthouse to where, you know, it's what we have today. We hired Killis a couple of years ago to come back and take care of some issues with some of the manifolds and some of the parts that were put in that should have been bigger, and he took care of that. He hired a company called Fire and Ice out of Oklahoma that was a specialist in this, so that we still see him, and they've been keeping the courthouse cool. You know, so I guess we'd have to meet with Killis to see exactly what he wants to do or plan to do to make it last another 10, another 20 years, but we will need to visit with him. But this gives him the ability to get started and see if there's any other things that we're lacking. So there's been a motion and a second made to authorize a grant application. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Now, the next one, item discussion possible action on the Texas Association Counties Health and Benefit Pool 2022 County Choice Silver Retiree Medical Program. For those retirees that turn 65, they come off our Blue Cross insurance and go into what they call Silver Plan. And this is the new plan that's been recommended from the All Winds Group Benefit. And there's different packages. There's a package one where the medical supplement is, Medicare supplement is $261. The medical advantage is $354, and the prescription drug $264. Package 2 would be $146. Medical advantage $272. Prescription drug $104. Package 3 would be $239. Medicare Advantage $272, and prescription drug coverage $243. And I'll let you look at this briefly, and it tells you what it covers. Package 1. Calendar year deductible 0, skilled nursing 0, co-insurance 0, unlimited out-of-pocket, emergency room copay 0, office copay 0. And package 2 50% calendar deductible, same thing with 3. And it may take some, here, I'll pass it along, it may take you to look at it, but remember, the employee pays 25% and we pay the other 75%.
That's for retirement, right?
Yeah, it's retired, it's only the ones that are over 65. And I don't know how many we have, Mary, over 65. Maybe
And I think maybe like
3.
three. I'm just over 65.
And I didn't know if you had a chance to look at it. I know I forwarded it to all the commissioners via email, but still, man, we have a little bit of time, so if you want to go back and look at it, more, it's fine. I also said, Jimmy, I'm still waiting for him to get back to me on what he recommends on that.
But if they stay in the same plan, it's gonna be less this time.
Yes.
It's better.
Just keep the same plan?
It would be a better deal, right?
To keep the same plan?
Same plan for better, less price.
Thanks, Marty. You okay with that? We can keep it like that then.
So you want to keep the same plan? Mary, do you remember which one is the one we have?
The package one plan
Huh?
for the medical, it was the package one, plan, yeah. And for the prescription, it was option one.
So you just want to leave it as is, Mary?
We were paying on the medical $275.83, and the new one, the same plan is now $261.80. And the prescription, we were paying $276.18, and now it's $264.80.
It's lower.
So. So the recommendation, just keep it as is?
Yes.
I'll make that.
With this new plan, the new one, right?
Oh,
On the new, yeah.
no, it's in, she's saying she just keep the current plan that we have and update.
Oh, just, it's an update.
So, so it's, you're saying if it's the same company, same policy, everything is the same, because if it's a different underwriter, because maybe I'm getting confused by the cover on it, because it has somebody else that I've never seen. Ammons or,
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the one that they changed on prescription. It's now
but Amwins, as long as it's, same coverage, same plan, everything's the same. I guess that's what I'm hearing from the commissioners.
Okay.
Is there a contract on that, Judge? Like,
Um,
so many years?
No, it's every year, it has to be renewed with the insurance. That's like the commissioner's court, we can change it every year.
So that's a county choice.
Yes.
So we'll stick to it. I'll make the motion.
Motion has been made to remain with, same insurance, same coverage, same benefits
Or better.
at a lower price.
Yes.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Oh, Jorge's here. Number 5, discussion and or possible action to authorize Maria Perez and Margie Esqueda to close all county accounts not subject to the operating account authorized as a result of the new financial software. And if we remember, we authorized the creation of a master account, other than the trust accounts and the ones that you have, granted. So now you're asking to go back and close those older accounts, those other accounts?
Oh, it's,
Jorge had asked me to put an item on the agenda to close your accounts that aren't being used at the bank.
Right, and some of them haven't had activity since like April.
Since,
One,
since you put, with the new software, you created one master account.
yes.
This does not apply to Margie's trust accounts and court accounts, or it's the ones that you use and you both sign off on your daily business. So you're asking us to authorize you, I guess Margie is also your signatures on the bank accounts to be able to close those accounts. You know?
how many new accounts do we have? That,
There's one new account that we opened a consolidated cash with this new software. And, we are trying to close as many accounts as we can versus like over 40 accounts that we have at the bank right now. And then they would all go through that account, but we do have on the software the breakdown every month.
excluding Road and Bridge?
We don't have those.
Okay,
Yeah. I mean, we will close those, they come out of the consolidated.
yeah, okay.
Yes. Once they don't have any activity.
So we would need a motion to authorize Margie and Mary to close those accounts that are not being used.
I'll make the motion.
For a second.
I'll second.
You make a motion?
I did.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Nieves, second by Commissioner Alba, to close all accounts not being used. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 6, discussion and or possible action on a request by LaSalle County Fair Association for funding. And I received a letter from Amanda Snowden from the Fair Association. Please let this serve as LaSalle County Fair Association official request for the allocation of county funds for the 2021-2022 calendar years. Fair Association is once again asking for LaSalle County, and County Judge or County Commissioners for an annual stipend of $25,000 for the year for 2021 to continue to produce our annual events, which are used to create scholarships for local youth and help attract tourists to the city of Cotulla and LaSalle County. If approved, the bulk of these programs would be used to help continue to grow events which we hold each year. In addition, the association also produces scholarship dinner fundraiser concert, and the LaSalle County Country Christmas. For each event, funds would be used for promotion of the events and therefore the community and performance artists. The funding would also be used to continue our grounds improvement and maintenance so that our facilities are safer, more useful, and more attractive to our community as well as any guests that we host during our events. If you require additional information to consider and act on requests from the Fair Association, do not hesitate to contact myself or any of LaSalle County Fair Association board members. On behalf of the LaSalle County Fair Association, we thank you for your consideration. Look forward to working together to improve our facilities, county fair, and other live events. Sincerely, Ernesto Galvan, Kevin Coleman, Amanda Snowden, Sissy Allen, Omar Olivares, and Murray Talbert. And last year, when we did the budget cycle, we found out some things, and we didn't fund. One was like the Chamber of Commerce, because there was various AG opinion that said that the counties could not fund chambers of commerce because they didn't allow the membership for everybody. So it was selectively located to businesses, and said even if we got a membership, we were not allowed So that's why it wasn't funded, not because we don't want to, and we had been, but traditionally, we had never been asked for one, and now I know for a reason. We funded the Fair Association for the first time, but same thing, there's AG opinion says that we could fund a stock show, and whoever has the stock show runs the stock show, you know, and would distribute the money for the kids, for the youth, that's allowed. I don't know the difference on the Fair Association and the stock show. So I understand there's two different boards, but I'm not a member of that.
Two different groups.
So the group that has the stock show is the one that would be able to help. I mean, if there's a different opinion, if Ms. Martinez wants to get an opinion, we can ask her, and not say no yet, but ask her, said, hey, is there any way to fund them?
Or they could split it or something.
Or they could, but there's a reason, you know, sometimes you do something like we do the library, we've had libraries, we can do that, it supports the whole community. You know, for the women's advocacy and CASA and all that, there's so many different opinions that say we can fund them in many different ways. So there's, you know, and as we learn, we kind of correct it. But if there's something that I missed, you know, said, you know what, let's, you know, say, send a letter tie, look, I don't know if it's legal, it's not legal, we'll ask Ms. Martinez if you have something, forward it to us. And I would respond, we're not saying no, but, you know, if something I missed, then we'll, you know, let her look at it.
Even those going for scholarships,
The,
there's kids involved.
but the thing is, on the AG opinion, I believe I gave them to you last year, and I gave you a whole list of them, and it said, you know, that's what the Attorney General opinion said, that it had to be the stock show. So even though it's, you know, it might be a public purpose, you know, it said no to everything else but stock shows. But if there's something that I'm missing, then it's fine, because we also gave the Farm Bureau, and we're not allowed to give the Farm Bureau, because the Farm Bureau is still an insurance organization, and so there's certain things local governments can do and certain things we can't, and, you know, all I can do is just, Ms. Martinez, see if you can find something else, you know.
So if we donate like to this association, like last year we didn't do much for that, we didn't do any?
No, this year we didn't do it. Last year we didn't budget the year before we did. But,
They're gonna start calling.
but if we can't do it, I mean, we can't do it. We had never been asked before, and then, you know, when Eagle Ford, we started getting all these other organizations that wanted help, but, you know, even though they're nonprofit, doesn't mean we can fund them.
Yes, I'm okay with it. Just-
And I'm okay with it too, as long as we can legally do it.
Yes, yeah, okay. So what, we table it, have Ms. Martinez look
Yeah,
at
I
it,
would say
and-
table it and let Ms.
That way we
Martinez
know what's
review
going
it, and it's positive, I mean,
Yeah,
and then, you know, it's,
okay. I'll go ahead and make the motion to table it to have Ms. Martinez look
uh,
over it.
review the legality of the,
Okay.
of the donation.
Second.
The motion has been made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Number 7, discussion possible action to authorize insurance application for applicant under indigent care program. I know we have Abiana here, I don't know, Rosie, are you here? We met with Mr. Patterson last week, and they identified some people that probably would be good candidates, based on the illness, to be able to apply for insurance. As we know, indigent care by counties, helps pay for medical bills for people that have no income, that have been denied from all coverages, and they meet the thresholds set by a state, which is your poverty standards. I believe it's 25% of the poverty guideline. So there's a application that's filled and then scored. Some of the individuals only need medications to keep their health. Others are more drastic. Sometimes we've had in the past heart, we've had cancer, and if they get Medicare or Medicaid, then they're off the program. But part of the application process requires that they first be denied all state services as well. And we pay only up to $30,000. So when we get a bill, they go through the bill, and there's a code book, and we pay what they call the Medicaid rates. So if an operation is $50,000, it's possible we're only gonna pay 10 or 15,000. On illnesses that are more severe, you know, you can hit the $30,000 limit really quick. So one of the recommendations we thought about and asked that still under the Obamacare, there's no people can be accepted pre-existing conditions. So we have some people, and because of HIPAA can't say names, we got a couple applicants that have conditions that take them over the $30,000 threshold. So by paying the premium for them, then we limit the amount that we're gonna pay out. So possibly we're not gonna hit the 30,000. The quotes? And on the individuals, can you just put A, B, C, D, E, and just give me an example of your applicants?
There's 4 of them.
Okay.
I can scratch up the names.
Well, they've had HIPAA, they just can't say names. Commissioners have had HIPAA training, so, but they just can't say names.
All 4 are different
Yeah.
codes,
So,
it
so,
just depends
so
on-
anything we put into the books would not have names. Those are the 4?
Yeah.
Did Damiana, did you have any? So they was enable those people that we always hit the threshold of 30,000 for a lower amount to be able to get insurance, and they'd have coverage for a longer period of time. You're looking at 6-month policy?
It's a 3.
Huh? It's a 3-month policy.
3. Every 3 months, we'll kind of review.
You know, some of the medications they have cost $700-800. They're limited to 3 medications. This would allow them to get the medications that are allowed by the insurance. Sometimes, you know, they may have to have a different brand, you know. But just like us, you know, they may have to get generic or something else, but it has a access to a lot more medications than just, you know, 3. So like when we do this with a bill, we do it kind of like our juvenile cases, so we mark out the identifying number, we can put the quote, but we mark it out, so. So he has a deadline of 8/15, and after that, there's gonna be another enrollment in October. So have these people in the trial run, we can see how it's come, how it's been built, decide to open it to others.
That one there, would it be 30,000 for everybody? To cover everybody, or like,
Well, but for example,
Or individual.
you got 4 people, it's $30,000 per person.
per person?
So by law, we're supposed to put 6% of our total tax levy for indigent care, which is close to about $1 million a year. And for that, if the people meet, then each person qualifies to 30,000. But usually when they get to that level, and the illness is really bad, 30,000 is not gonna cover much. So by taking what they would be entitled to and applying it to an insurance is gonna give them coverage for a lot more than what the county could cover in that case. So we'll end up saving. So the highest here was, I think, 800. These are all people with existing conditions, 800. So basically, for the highest person, we'd be paying, 10,000 a year. Well, that savings is up to 20,000 on that person, because they'll have to pay their own co-payment, they'll have to pay their own, deductibles in it, but they'll have far more doors that open up to them.
Sounds fair.
Huh?
Sounds fair.
But they have to go through that threshold, the application denied for Medicaid, and, and if we get some others, we won't know till October. If we have some others that are in that situation, we can decide then as well. We've had people in the past that maybe in a year, they don't spend $1,000. That they just want their diabetic medication.
Yes.
But there's others,
Little worse.
yes.
So where do you apply for that?
They apply with either Damiana or Rosie.
And who knows?
And who knows?
People know out there?
Yeah.
They know.
And they can also bring me the application, as well. I handled it when I was treasurer and continued with it. Was county judge for a long time. But it's, so we would need a motion to
I'll make the motion.
authorize these 4 applicants to put A, B, C, and D, for insurance, through the indigent care program, since they are applicants that have qualified.
I got an email for Mr. Patterson this morning. They loan us at American Express,
Huh?
the payment.
Yeah.
Loan us at American Express, so I don't.
It has to be cash payment,
It's not cash, but Visa, MasterCard, or Discover, so. I
or we can make a check.
don't work on PO, so.
You check it.
Oh, what,
Can I pay with a check?
yes. Yeah, we can pay with it, but it has to go with the application.
It has to be before,
So I was gonna recommend to pay the entire policy for the 3 months, instead of having to wait back and forth. Because by the time we bring it back, hopefully we won't have a lag to where there's any lapse in coverage.
Are we gonna try to do it for the August 15th?
Yes. Well, it's gonna start in, the deadline is for him to submit is August 15th, but it won't be, effective till September 1st.
first, will come in effect. It would pay before then. But after the 3 months, if you, like, you redeem, I have to pay before then. So,
So from here to there, does anybody else that come in? Or is that it?
Well, the thing is, the application period ends, so it's not gonna open till October again. So anybody else that we come in, we can look at whatever expenses we're using, and then make a decision to add them. You know, naturally, not everybody would need to have it because some, like I said, there's people that become indigent, but then they find a job and they're out of the program. So what we're doing is targeting your long term. I mean, you may still have someone that's indigent that has a heart attack that the expenses go really high, but the most you pay is 30,000. You know, regardless.
Because we're still gonna have the other fines, everything.
But these are people with underlying conditions
They're really severe.
and, these are people with underlying conditions. And did you reach out to all these already?
And yet, I
Okay.
have to get approval.
So we have, we have the motion. Do we have a, did we have a motion?
I did.
Was there a second? And would you amend your motions to include, the payment for the entire policy?
I mean,
3-month policy?
And if you can-
Okay, is there any further discussion? Now, for the bills, for the notes, Margie, when we do get it, the names will have to be, because of HIPAA. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. So motion carries. Number 8, update by sheriff on TCLO licensing at the LaSalle County Regional Detention Center in Ensenada. And I don't know if he's here or he's not here. But for the jail in Ensenada, it's not a requirement for them to have a TCLOS license because it's under the rules of the Bureau of Prisons. If we ever decided to open it as a state jail, then you'd have to have TCLOS requirements. And I think he wanted to reach us. I don't know if he's here today, and, you know, we can table that item, but that's,
his chief deputy is here.
yeah. Yes? I can't hear you. Can you come up to the speaker? Yes. Yes.
It's not required for the facility for the jailers to have the TICO license. We have, I guess, amended the curriculum, the training curriculum at this point. We have a 40-hour curriculum for the officers coming in for the new hires. We'd like to change it to an 80-hour in case we get the approval for the non-TICO license. At this time, the officers get a temporary license from TICO, sponsored by the sheriff. And in some cases, they do not last, after the initial training, they go about 2 weeks to 2 months, and then they decide it's not for them, making the temporary license available to others.
You fall under the license of Bureau of Prisons, and that's what ICE and the U.S. Marshal follows, which when the state comes, they don't examine that facility because your inspections come from ICE and the federal government. So they have a whole different set of rules. And that's a decision he has. The only advantage there's an advantage with the license that if he needs somebody, he can move them over here or vice versa. The disadvantage is that many times when you get them the license, then they go work somewhere else because they're already licensed. So you train them. And sometimes you lose people in the kitchen and in certain areas because they're required to have licenses even though they're not doing guard services.
At this time, we have 26 licensed officers and 8 administrative, staff, support staff that could assist if needed at the county jail.
So, you know, it's gonna be his decision at the end of the day because it's his relationship with the U.S. Marshal Services and ICE that keeps the place running. This is, you know, if this is something he wants to do, I think he doesn't need to come to the commissioner's court because he is the keeper of the jails. There, in the government code, the sheriff is the keeper of the jail. So that jail and this jail are under his authority. And how he operates the jail, other than us giving the money for the budget, solely up to him. Solely up to him. So I mean, we can take action, but I don't think action is needed other than, you know, other than maybe a statement from the commissioner's court said, hey, we understand the sheriff is the, sole person responsible for the jail in Salle and Cotula. And as long as the decisions are conform to the standards by the respective agencies, being ICE, U.S. Marshal, federal, and state, then we're in total support. And that's what I would suggest. That way, said we're not making a decision for him, but he has to follow the state and federal law. And that's all we can do.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And that would be the recommendation today.
No action.
We don't have to take action, but, we can put something into the minutes that, commissioners understand that this is a sheriff administration issue, as long as he's in compliance with state and federal laws, we will support his operational efforts. So, item number 9, discussion, clarification, reconciliation of bonds, state projects, such as BRINSAP, Texas Department of Transportation, related farm to markets, previously approved bond projects, individual commissioner projects, with bids accepted or denied, work authorizations, or correct allocation. And throughout the year, I think Jorge's here, and in the past, even going back to last year, the year before, I request information from him, and we go through it because we have a number of projects that are going. And even with S&B, I've met with them in the past to go over how the monies are allocated. Last year, I requested from Jorge, and he provided me several times, bank accounts for everybody else. And this is even going back to, what year is this? This is here, look. 2016, where with S&B, we met with them and said, LaSalle County Road and Bridge Project Reconciliation 2016. And we went through all the accounts. And they gave us a spreadsheet of everything that we did. And last year, we weren't really able to do it, but we've been concerned on how much money we have in projects. And it goes even deeper when we go through all this. And then I want to spend my time to go through all these projects. And these are those from years ago. And I'd ask them to be okay, you're doing all this, where's this money coming from? Because not all the projects are bond projects. And what we notice is that a lot of stuff is being charged and it's not being broken up to departments. And when we conduct business, assuming we have no bonds whatsoever, we have no extra cash, when we did the bridge, on the Holland Dam, that came out of precinct 3, that was BRINSAP. That's why last week I said, this is a BRINSAP, this is the way we do it, this is the way the money gets broken up, because they give you a contract and you take it. When we've done right-of-way acquisitions, in our taxes, there's a thing called farm to market and flood control. And there's a law that says farm to market, if you collect farm to market, you gotta use that money for right-of-ways. And I recommended in an email I sent it to Jorge, I CC'd, maybe y'all didn't see it. But I recommended email that money, when we did the foreign market over there, should be split 4 ways. It's not required, but it wasn't, but it came out of the bond. Now, part of it is that we're not sharing road taxes equally when we collect the taxes. So it makes it harder to split equally too, if you don't have the same amount of money coming in. And so last year, in October, we went through cash balances. And those cash balances was based on what was given to me. And we had already been approved the Texas Bridge, so Mary gave me the information, and we determined how much money would be left at the end of the year for each precinct. And the amount of monies that we have in the bank accounts are there. And at the end, we have the projects that were outstanding at that point of time. That's where we had decided to do the three bids with Kilosalman for the JP offices. But what I didn't know, and I think we have those on reconciliation, Louis, would be A for the public to see. So this is we have the cash per precinct on each one that we've gone over. And then over here, we had the amount of money that, we had, which includes the search money. Did you get one? But I didn't know then that it still hadn't been deducted. On July 4th, 2019, I sent Jorge Martinez and CC'd Mary and Jorge an email. And in bare bottom, said, in reference to the TxDOT right-of-way payment, the bond funds cannot be used for this cost. The taxes collected include farm-to-market percentages that is allocated to road and bridge and bridges. I recommend payment split between the four commissioners. That was at the time. But it would still have to be before the commissioners' court. Then, in the government code, which I included and gave to you, the use of farm-to-market and lateral road funds, farm-to-market lateral road fund of a county under the jurisdiction control of the Commissioners Court. Money in that fund may be used for construction and maintenance, farm-to-market lateral roads in the county. All or part of the money in the fund may be used in cooperation with the department in acquiring right-of-way and in constructing and maintaining farm-to-market lateral roads. And so sometimes you say, well, where did this come up? When did that come up? This is in 2019. And Jorge's been providing me ledgers, which Louis has that he can pop up. Years, going back to other years. Other years. Huh? Well, it's gonna start with A 2021, there's only 5 of them. So it'll be A 2021 reconciliation. Yeah, it starts with A. So I asked for ledgers from Jorge that he gave me, concerning projects. And I think Jorge's there, and even last year, he's been responsive to questions I have in reference to costs. I'll give you two. I'll give you one. So Commissioner, last year the year before, we did some projects. And we did one in Jardín, culvert, and then from the culvert, it went to bidding out the full project. And then we also did the Prince Road. Now, we had already talked about saying that we were gonna do any road projects until we found out where the money was being used for the annex, the dialysis clinic, and Ensenada. So we wanted to see how much money we actually had left. So, on Prince Road, it wasn't a project that was agreed to, that it was a bond project, it was a project he wanted to see a quote. Then when it came to the culverts, when we denied the bids, Commissioner, was asked, why are we gonna deny the bid? He said, because it's out of his funds. And we can go back to the tapes, but he said it was out of your funds. So there's a switching point where we decided, said, you know what? We're just gonna go out for the whole project. From that point there, it becomes a bond fund. And before that, it was his fund.
How come you didn't put it in the agenda the way you're talking about it?
It was on the agenda, and I don't handle the books.
You don't mention.
I don't handle the books.
You don't mention names nor precincts.
Look, here in September, this is of last year, 2 years ago. This is where the money should have been, it wasn't. So $130,000 that should have gone from your account came out of the bond fund.
What 30, well, what 30?
There was for the right-of-way acquisition, it came out of the bond fund, it's in that ledger.
Where is that? Prince Road?
Huh?
Prince Road?
No, that's for the farm to market. We collect farm to market taxes. You collect farm to market taxes, and that's where it comes from.
How do I know? I'm not the auditor.
I mean, don't you get when we do the tax rate, it says farm to market.
Yeah.
It says farm to market. Then on the culvert, I'm not saying anything about contractors. I don't have a single problem with the contractors. What I'm concerned is, we bid out this project, we got the engineers going, we got them started, and the Jardín project was gonna be out of your budget on the culverts, but then you didn't wanna do it. For some reason, you didn't wanna bid it.
Years ago?
No, it wasn't that long.
Yeah, we were, Jardín was the first project we were gonna do with the first $20 million bond. I don't know, I don't have the paper, but
You know what? It's included in here.
You changed
It's included, it's included in here.
We went to Albert
The,
Park.
the thing is that you're deciding to use funds without getting the other commissioners involved. There's nothing in the minute says for you to use the bond funds for them to be taken out.
I'm gonna table this line item, Judge.
You,
Because I'm not prepared.
This is the thing.
You don't warn nobody, you don't tell nobody.
There's no warning on this. Last time you said you were rich.
What do you mean, Rick?
Last time you said, we're rich, we can pay whatever.
Oh,
And,
that's what,
and,
I mean, I
and,
go
and
by,
I asked you about El
the
Jardín.
books, I go by the books.
I asked you about El Jardín, and I asked you,
El Jardín was supposed to be paved 10 years ago, since 11.
okay, I'm gonna backtrack. I asked you,
I don't wanna argue.
I asked you in the meeting very clearly last week about the use of county equipment on projects. Okay, not that I'm against it, not that I don't think it's right, but I think it needs to be written and done equally for everybody.
We had,
And-
me and Rene had it.
And it's something that was not included.
Paper.
Now, I'll let you speak, but let me
No,
go.
I don't need to speak, I
No.
want to table this line item.
And
I
the
need
issue,
a-
the issue on
I need
that,
an attorney here.
the issue on this, you said, I asked, why did he use the equipment? You said it was already there.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? Right in there is the GPS, right here, for you all to see. That the equipment was not there. The equipment was in Cotula, and you drove it to Prince Road. You drove it to Prince Road,
we were in Hines,
huh?
we were in Hines. Make up.
Right here, when you took it to El Jardín.
What road are you talking about?
When you worked on Prince Road,
Yes.
when you worked on Prince Road, the equipment was transferred from 613 North Front to Prince Road. To Prince Road. It's right here on page 19, the very bottom.
Yeah, we were gonna resurface the embankment that had been done.
And Prince was low bid on it, RCW. Was low bid. And he's here. It's nothing to do with him. This is about your decisions. This is about your decisions. But last time you said that the equipment was there, but you moved it over there from Cotula, because this is a lie.
Because we were gonna.
But last time you said it was already up there. And the issue that I have with,
Where are those
the issue that I have with this is that when you bid out a project, there's so much for mobility, for equipment, for everything else, and you gotta make it equal to everybody. It's not the contractor's fault in any way.
When you
It's
build
your
a project,
decision.
when you build a
Because when you bid out a project, and when they bid out the project, we had all these things that they have to meet, and all the bids are together and they're graded. You got your material, your manpower, your equipment, it has all that, you go. But when you allow equipment to use and you don't give somebody else, it becomes a bid violation. It becomes a bid violation, and it's not, it's not fair, it's not fair. Where this is, you wanted Prince Road, it wasn't a bond project. It was not.
I didn't want it in Mount Pond. I don't know why.
But it should have been, it should have been out of,
I
it
don't
should have
know
been
why-
out of your budget.
I don't know why Mike Rojas did that. He started the bidding.
Because on Prince Road,
It was only 192,000.
but it was deducted out of the bonds.
Who did that? I don't know.
But it should be deducted out of yours,
I didn't know.
out of yours.
I didn't know.
And then this other thing on the
And I had the
farm to market stuff should have been out of yours. We could have brought it back to the agenda, but it wasn't.
And I had the money. I don't know why they did that.
But
Who did
it's
it?
done. But this is not, what I'm saying, this is
But why are you
something
bringing
that,
all this up? It's been 4 years.
it's not making it up. Is last time you said you were rich, we've been going through the books.
No.
And we got projects. We got projects
No,
that are
I'm
going
not-
through.
I'm not rich. My prison has money. And, you
But it
can't
has
get
money because the money wasn't taken where it should have.
Como?
You bought a lot of equipment because that money from the farm to market, this money for the engineering,
How much was from
on the
the farm to
culverts,
market?
huh? It's not that long ago. It's not that long ago So,
I'm not the
you're
treasurer,
giving a
and
lot
I'm
of these
not the-
projects
I'm
out
not-
there.
I'm not, I don't take care of my money, I just see what I got.
And that's not what you have, you get your ledger, I mean, so if you knew
Yeah.
the Prince Road was
And-
yours,
and
and
I
you didn't
know
see
what
the
I got.
expenses there, why didn't you ask for it?
It was only 192,000, I was gonna do it cash. I mean, what was it?
The
They
thing-
wanted to, the engineers, I mean, we were gonna engineer it and spend millions. We didn't have
There's two different things, you got your bond projects, and you got your work authorizations. Your bond projects are the ones that we do.
Well, see, I don't know if it takes care of
And
that.
when we borrow the money, we're required to let the bondholder know that we're gonna use this money according to what the bond wants. So we wanna do paving, anytime we can do local, it's great. It's great, but the thing is,
Local,
if
yeah.
you're understanding the way you're doing it, it's not.
And I barely do anything. I take care of my money slowly.
But it looks like you took care of the money because it came out of a different fund.
You're going into personal problems.
It's not personal problems.
Yes, sir, correct.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
This is the thing, we make decisions to do projects, and the people rely on us to do these projects.
Yeah.
And we expect to have X amount cash, like Jorge, you said we have 10 million. But of that 10 million, there's monies in other funds. There's also monies that are the search zone, so what's our true cash balance? And then we have other projects that have not been directly taken out, and maybe the reconciliation with S&B should have been done,
Who's take it out?
but I'm not.
Who's crying about it?
But our issue here is that there's other funds too, and they gotta be reconciled. We have to file with S&P, the people that do our underwriting, every year a due diligence report, that we're using the money according to what they need to be done.
I know it's not the
And-
treasurer's
and-
office fault, nor the auditor.
And we have to sign those documents.
It's you.
And
I'm not
if
able
I
to-
know something is wrong, I'm not gonna sign it. You know,
Why are you
and
fighting?
and we're still learning, huh?
Why are you fighting?
The thing is that we're coming at the end of the project. Last week, we said, we're not gonna do the bond or that building for precinct 4. So how much money do we have more to put into the towers? How much money do we
I
have
really
into
didn't
the
like the
roads?
idea.
So we need to have a good, clear idea how much money, it has to be reconciled, whether we like it or not.
It's $900,000,
So, so the thing is about these projects is that even if we vote, even if we table, that you two have the responsibility to make payments, and if you feel something isn't right, don't do it.
Everything's county.
Don't make a payment. If they're out of money, he's out of money. But that's what has to happen, is that those accounts need to be recounted, regardless whether commissioners want to table it or don't
But
table it.
we're not out of money. I don't know where you get that from.
You may be out of money. Does he have $400,000 extra?
Yes. I have 900,000. Plus I got another carryover. Where's my deal from the county? Where's it for? I still got road hauling materials. I got $962,000.
And that's if the money comes in. It hasn't all come in.
Well,
But the
it'll
thing
come
is, not all the tax collections come in.
It'll come in.
What I'm getting is that we
most of the
have,
oil.
you got to use bond funds, and I don't know if it's anybody else's, that nobody else got entitled to. Nobody else got entitled to. And when I mentioned, like I said, the Prince Road, it's okay to use equipment, but get the agreement,
and I
get the document, and you didn't.
And I don't trust you. That's why
Well, I don't trust you because you lied.
No.
No, last time you did so.
They can't be.
Last time you said that equipment was there and it was not
I
there.
need a lawyer.
And there's the GPS.
I make the motion to table this line item.
Even to the table, it's not gonna go.
I don't care. I need a lawyer.
Even if we table, it's not gonna go, Commissioner.
Because you're wrong.
It's not.
You're just
And-
mad because we didn't move the precincts. That's all.
No. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I understand the conflict of interest with the maintainer on Prince Road. And what I wanted to bring up that I don't think got brought up because it got done behind the scenes was when we first went to Prince Road, we saw that you know, the road, you know, had erosion problems and things like that that needed to be improved. The engineers did not put in for any added material, bringing in any base. Basically, when you do a seal coat, it's gonna mimic what's going on underneath the roadway. So what we did, and yes, his grader was there. Me personally, I took it from his guys. I think we changed the blades out, and then they said, well, you can have it from here. And
It was a weekend, but I remember.
it was on weekend, something, it was late in the evening, whatever. What I have here is so the trade-off was, in the bid, we had $10,000 to prepare the roadway. And so what we ended up doing was we hauled 32 loads of material with an estimated value of $375 a load, which is standard, what we've hauled there before, so it wasn't no marked up or, you know, it was the same price. And so that's how I could justify bidding on that maintainer, is because we traded, you know, we said, look, I would never charge you $10,000 to blade this road, even though that's what I bid on it. And so here's the proof of the loads that we took over there, you know, and therefore I use the maintainer or whatever.
And
To do it all over again, I have a maintainer sitting at the yard. And I understand your point on, you know, it has to be fair for everybody. But what we did was put this in there, an estimated value of $12,000, and not charge for the blading, or not charge for the materials.
I understand.
From the water.
I understand your part, and I know that you've given a lot to the county. I know that Albert Marty spent a lot of time. Otherwise, I'd be asking you, you know, I think you did something. All this is complex, and you have to keep it on board because you get looked at. And it's just not that easy. I'm not saying, hey, you haven't helped us, because you have. The issue is, in understanding, is that if Mike knew you were trading, he should have let us know. He didn't. One, and we need to bring that up. But somebody gets hurt on equipment, we gotta make sure we're covered too. You know, we just took care of a jail lawsuit where somebody died and we had to pay, with the insurance, in excess of $1 million, we paid $300,000 out of pocket. And that money's not that easy. But as far as looking at the books and reconciliations, and I was hoping to give you the PowerPoint, throughout the years, I've always gone, this is the amount of cash we have, this is where we're at. But I rely on what's given me on the general ledger. And the reason I pulled this here from the engineers, because even go back 16, I sit down with them and go through all of it. We just came out of the pandemic. But I'd like to see as many projects done with the money that we have, but I want to make sure they come out of the right pots of money. And they have to come out. But, you know, they haven't been. We authorize work order authorizations for you, for you, for you, and we put all the projects together. We don't have enough money to do all those projects. However, we've paid all the engineering fees. And this was your wish to do those, but at the same time, over here, the bond money was used for something that we hadn't approved. So if they're gonna give him the bond money, then we better find money to do your road, and your road, and your road, because you got a bridge that needs to be done too. You know, and that's the case. And once we do all the projects, there's not enough money. And I'd like to see some of these projects done. But as with the engineers, as I mentioned last time in the meeting, I said, look, I don't like work authorizations. I didn't like when they did it on Albert Martin, because if you get them to bid on a project, you can pay them to 10 or 12%. Otherwise, your expenses go really, really high. On El Jardín, just on their roadway, it's way over $400,000 they spent. And they were spending money on the roadway design even before we approved it. Even before we approved it, that's how confident they are. And that should not be done. But as far as, you know, I'm not the treasurer anymore, I'm not, you know, the accountant. I try to go through the figure, but there's no way we can do it all, and we all learn. but that's where the pots come from. But we are not rich, and that idea that we are rich, we're not. The fines are down, from the county, we've given some breaks on past tax collections, you know, we're not.
I never said that word, rich.
I think you did,
No, it just comes
and
out.
I think it's recorded there.
It just comes out of your mouth.
No, sir, no, sir. Would
It's
you
all
like,
right. It's
we
all right.
can table now and go back and, pull it out.
So I just take it off my budget. You already told me and Jack and Nancy now, when you made the meeting up there, that you're gonna break it, so I'm looking into that.
I didn't say I was gonna break you.
Yes, you
I
did.
said I want to be honest.
No, you said you were gonna get on, and you're gonna
This
change
is,
money, no, you can't do that.
this is the thing. Raul,
But,
we
it's
make
okay.
decisions,
It's okay.
if you let me speak,
This is nonsense.
no, it's not nonsense. This is the thing. You as a businessman that are out there, if we say we're gonna do a job and we're gonna hire you, and then at the last minute pull it away from you, you're gonna get upset, because you could have had a job here, here, here. I don't like to play with people that way. We spent a lot of time going over the items that we deducted, talked about.
Yeah.
Last time I put an item on the agenda because you said you didn't know about it.
Yeah.
You said you didn't vote on it, and yet, even though we played it and it turned out exactly the way we said, you know, it didn't go that way.
We don't know, we still don't know why you wanna
It's not,
realign the precincts. I don't know why.
You realign the precinct because this man over here doesn't work, the one I'm pointing to, does not work. He has not worked at all, he has not brought money. He'll showboat and go around all town telling how bad we are, or how bad I am, but yet he won't work and produce. And yet you continue to pay
Oh, you're
him.
talking about the constable.
Yes, and you continue to pay him,
He made,
you know.
he's bringing.
And but
Let's
the
go,
thing
let's go back into the.
But regardless on this item, I'm saying it's discussion only, is that you got your different pots. So even if we table it, you wanna table it, it's fine. They can't make checks for that money, and that money has to be returned. It has to be returned. And once they
Return
finish
it.
the reconciliation,
Return
it's
it.
gonna make a difference on everybody.
Take that money, put it, and take it off my budget.
Sir, the thing is, you're not producing according to everybody else.
What do you mean everybody else? Who's
No.
He's not in the line item. Right. He's not in the line item.
We'll put you on the agenda, and we'll bring you back.
He's
No, sir.
he's out of the,
No, sir. He asked why we're here, and he said we're covering, we're retaliating, and we covered items, and we put an item on the agenda because you said you didn't know, and I did. And even when we prove it to you, you still don't
you
believe
should
it.
have put it there, you're gonna talk
But,
about now.
but even when we don't put it, you don't believe it.
What?
Even when we put reasons why we have an item, we don't believe it.
Yes, I believe a lot.
So, no,
I believe a lot. I don't believe you much anymore. I lost your hope with you.
I can say a lot of things, Robo.
You know, man, I can say a lot
I mean-
of things about you too.
I mean, on all these cash balances, Commissioner, on all these cash balances say that we have, you've bought a lot of equipment and you don't use a lot of it. Why did you buy a tire machine? Pay $25 an hour for a person?
No.
To buy a tire machine? No, let me speak.
Let me talk to you. man.
You bought a tire machine
You know why?
and
Because you go to the shop, to a tire shop, it takes, they tell you, leave it there. How can I leave it there? I need it right now. I'm broke down in the road. So you gotta wait all day and then another day, and then my boys are stalled. They can't do nothing. Because they need that trailer or they need that truck.
so you're gonna pay $25 an hour per person to fix a tire?
Huh?
You're gonna pay $25 an hour per person to fix a tire?
They fix them fast. The machine's pretty good. But I'm paying more when they're waiting for the tire to be fixed. That's what I wanna save money on
The
them.
whole issue on these balances is
You
that,
don't know the outside world.
no, I know the outside world, and I know the local man needs tires repaired and people do business.
Yeah.
And you're buying all this equipment and it just sits there, the motor graders
No,
sit
and
there.
everybody can use it.
It just sits there,
Just say so.
you know, it just
Put in
sits
my
there, you
equipment.
know.
I got 2 towns, 3 towns, Gardendale, Cotulla, and Fullerton. I gotta have a maintainer over there, I need to have a maintainer over here.
And you got 2 operators now?
Huh? I got 2 operators.
Good. Good.
Everybody, I mean, they're all good.
we need to have a reconciliation, and we need to get SMB to come back and go through the reconciliation like they did in the past of all the work authorizations, because they need to be taken into the right accounts. And those monies that are due, somewhere from the general fund, it's like the legal fees related to lawsuits, we put them in different pots, and like the core, when we do, we get reimbursed. We get reimbursed on that. And that's what has to happen. And I think Jorge knows for a while, I've been asking for these balances for years, I've always asked him. We've done the reconciliation to figure out where we're at. So you say we don't, we've had meetings, and Margie knows we've had meetings where I will go over the balances, and you say we haven't. So it's not the first time or the second time, we need to know where we stand on the cash. We need to. We need to know where we're at, everybody does. Because the people depend on these projects to be done. And I saw these amounts, they need to be addressed, and
you insist on doing me a budget amendment, I don't know why.
I didn't put a budget amendment, I said discussion only.
No, I've been doing it for 2-3 months.
I put the budget amendments when the Jorge sends me an email to put a budget amendment, and he has.
You didn't do it, because I asked him to send it for me, and then I started sending it myself.
Send what to yourself?
Well, when I wanna put something in them.
You've only sent me one email that was written, you've never
Well, see, I don't
sent
do-
me,
I don't
so
do
who are you
email.
sending it to? Put on the
No,
agenda, you just said now.
no, I just tell him up there,
You
hey,
just said now.
and maybe you would listen to him, but I don't think he's listening to many people. Let's continue.
So, I mean, we don't need to take any actions,
No.
Mary and Margie, I mean, do you understand, basically said, I'm not gonna take any action, but the monies have to be returned back to where they need to.
Just take it off my budget, Mary, and that way he quit working. It's only 192,000.
It's more than that.
What?
It's
Is no
right at
action
400, it's right at 400,000, and there's probably more coming,
Prince Road?
coming, yes. You got Prince Road, you got the farm to market also,
Where's that at?
that's on,
Give me the name of the road.
it's on the farm to market road, the farm to market taxes, that's,
Where did I use
That's
that
the
money?
text dot.
Where did I use that money?
it's on your, that went to text dot.
No. We're just talking about Prince
No
Road.
action
No, sir.
needed?
No, sir,
Okay,
no action needed.
192,000.
It's not 190, it's more.
can we make the motion to, go on a break for one,
Well, let's
What time is it?
finish.
What time is it?
11:35?
Let's continue. Thank you, Mr. Chris. Sometimes
Well-
it helps, sometimes it doesn't.
So, we're just gonna go to number 10, discussion of possible action on pipeline agreements, water crosses, and driveway permits.
I have one. I'm still missing the insurance part. I called this morning and he said he was gonna, email it to me, but I haven't received it.
Who's that, Marcia?
On Heinz Road,
I know, that's my road. So, we can't accept it now, right?
You can accept
Put
it
in the
pending.
minutes.
just pending the,
Insurance.
bond,
Alright.
insurance. Okay. I just wanted to reset it to the insurance.
Right, the same.
Yeah.
No lo have.
Fíjate, otro presidente.
I got this.
So there'd be motion to approve. There'd be motion to approve,
Northwood Land Services.
Driveway permits,
driveway permit.
I make the motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. I'm gonna jump to 15, discussion possible action to make changes to Texas Infrastructure Program, the Texas, TxDOT grant for all projects, that have not been awarded. We awarded the contract for Valley Wells, with its 0.5 miles. And we got Mr. Shaughnessy involved to get permission, City Cotula and the City of Ensenada, which you're working with the City of Ensenada to do the paving. Over here, we did it, we had agreed to hire Shaughnessy to go and do the projects, and yet now, at the last meeting, or maybe it was the last meeting, but you previously said you wanted to do a force account to do
Well,
the
that's
work,
what Jeff Snowden told me,
to do the force account.
that it was legal, and we could do it as long as I keep up with all my records. So I thought it was better. And let the engineers also, I mean, hire them just so they could tell me how much material per road and pay them, and that's it. I was gonna do the work, because I got all the equipment, like you're saying.
You know, you have the opportunity to pave some streets in Cotula that you've never paved before.
I only need one, and it cost us, me and Mito, $10,000. Or maybe 15 or 20, something, the most. We got Baker Street, that's all we got.
Yeah, Millie on Baker Street,
City didn't let us do Pool Street, because they were gonna do it, they have a $900,000 grant.
the pool's done, they don't have a grant, he said they're gonna pull the funds, but you got streets in the Colonia that you can pave.
They're all paved.
You got streets, the milling and pavement are two different things.
Yeah, no.
Milling and pavement, so you have the opportunity to pave different streets. You know, I'm recommending you to do pave.
I'd rather pave
Baylor.
roads, county roads.
Baylor. But at the same time, in the county roads and you citizens, you have to try to
It's my city.
balance everybody else.
My citizens are happy with the way I'm doing it.
Your citizens are happy with the way you're doing it?
Yeah, they.
So your citizen-
They were just dirt.
Your citizens wouldn't want to have good pavement?
Well, like you gotta do curbs and all that.
I mean,
That's what I'm
if
afraid
the
of.
city already did it, if you can do Baylor, you can do some of those other streets, Matamoras, you got people over there in the Jimenez subdivision that are
Yes,
still
it's
dirt.
county.
You know, it's county. It's county. But you have the ability to, you know, and I'm,
Well, I
You
mean,
know-
but I don't wanna spend the 2.5 million in there.
but we got started, and we got permission, and you said no. And it's like, we've killed us on precinct
No,
4.
because
We got started, and then you say no.
But they're
So you
paying-
make us go all these rabbit trails to try to get something done, and then you say no.
Was already paved the streets. I mean, you
But
want me to do them
milling versus
professionally?
pavement is two different things.
See, but that's a lot of waste of money. I mean,
But, you know, but I just want you to tell the citizens out there that
I already
you're not gonna
told
pave,
them.
you're not gonna pave them. You're not gonna pitch in.
I can redo them with,
That Pool Street, whose street is that?
mine and Mito, but it belongs to the city.
And they're gonna do it new or no?
They already told us.
They're gonna do it,
They don't-
what they've done is they put all their funds together
they don't
to
want
do
us
it, so they're going out on a limb to make it. And it may be too late to do it based on the TxDOT getting permission, but when I did talk to them, they said, whatever help you can do over here, help us.
They did-
And we can do proposals, like, even though it's a precinct, these are monies that we got together, we approved
Doña
together.
hasn't told
And we
us.
try to split them 4 ways, but we can decide to do projects if we all vote that way too.
I'll go talk to him and see if it's true, that way we can.
Because, but we go back and forth
They're
and
putting
the
new
time
sewer
is gonna
lines
go
in.
by, huh?
They're putting new sewer lines or water lines and everything.
When they finish, if they let us do it, I'm willing to.
They're doing a
You know,
good job.
it's been curbed and everything, but they stopped us. Yeah, they had $900,000 in the grant, so we were gonna do it a long time ago, me and Mito.
But
We're
there-
gonna do Baker.
But there's ways to free up money that we have in this to make things happen for the city of Cotula. There's ways to
But
just
see,
make it
if I
happen.
give you the okay, yeah, let me do all the streets, and then if I need to fix a road, I can't fix it, I can't fix a county road because I already told you we're gonna do this.
We've put in so
That's
much
what I don't
money,
like.
we put in so much money in county roads that the heavy equipment tears them up. We have a lot of bridges to do. And whatever money's available, we need to make sure that your bridge is taken care of and the rest of Valley Wells is, so we don't lose engineering. If we remember on the engineering, and I'm gonna go over Valley Wells, Chris Hinojosa started working on the first project. And then Commissioner Gonzalez came, he did Carroll, so we started engineering. Then we did the work authorization for Valley Wells, we paid like $460,000, but it's only 2.5 miles. So if you all don't commit to do it, you're gonna lose that engineering again. It's the same thing for the engineering that you've done for the road repair. If we don't come up with the money now to get that bridge repaired, then they're gonna have to redo all the engineering, to all numbers, and there go the cost again. So we need to make sure that we don't lose that engineering.
They already put it out there, but nobody put a bid on the bridge.
I know.
So they said they were gonna put it out there on the San Antonio Laredo, newspapers to see if we can get some bidders in here.
But with some of these other funds that are going, and what I'm looking at, there's not enough bond funds to do yours, everything that you all need. There's not. And that reconciliation has to happen. It has to happen. But we got the approval from TxDOT to do streets in Cotula and help Cotula out. And the same thing, you Commissioner, I don't know, you had mentioned you wanna do some streets in Cotula. You know, whether it's Mendez, Thornton, you know, I don't know if you can do anything along the side of the railroad, Front Street and South. I mean, I recommend to try to do as many because there's never gonna be another chance. And those contracts would, you know, come back to us to approve, but instead of wasting time, you know, some of those people will never ever see paved roads. They'll see milling, and you did a really good job on some of the pavement, but it's not the same thing as.
So you mean TxDOT won't give us no more money from?
If there's more money available, yes, and
There
I've
is.
asked with them, and
So there is.
you know, and hopefully there's gonna be more funding, but
Do you know if Pool Street's gonna be pavement, hot mix, or cold mix?
No, they gotta do hot mix.
Hot mix?
Cold mix, that's us.
Who? The pool street?
No, that's everything. $900,000, so they don't have the money.
no, they're pulling it from different funds. They don't have the money. But I don't know at this point, because it's been bid out already and awarded, if they've had to rebid, maybe they have to rebid it. Once the drainage is done, I think that's possible, but I think it can happen. But, and it's one of those things that there's never gonna be another opportunity. We're very aggressive in looking at funding, but there's no way we can do everything that we want at one time. There's no way to fix it all.
Good question.
So I met with TxDOT last week, and we got you the 5 bridges, and talked about signage and so forth, and they gave me a schedule. I'll get to you when the projects are to be let out. You know, we don't wanna be going back and forth and engineering and re-engineering, you know. If we can help the city of Cotula, my recommendation is, let's try to help them. I mean, Jack gave in, he's given the city of Ensenada roads, there's other projects already bid.
Let me talk to the city councilman and the Walina and the mayor, see what they need to be done in my precinct, and then I'll let you know.
I mean, it's only gonna make you look good that you do it because
I know.
the majority of your voters are there.
But, I mean.
The same thing for you,
they're
but some of these
happy.
people are never gonna see good pavement unless we step in. They're not. This is their opportunity to get some good pavement for these people.
Sometimes I try and get away from spending too much, but might as well use the money if we have to. But I wanted to use it on,
But
like, county roads, because there's so many.
I'd rather get these projects done right, and if we have to go back and get some more bond monies, then we'll do it right and get it. But But you gotta make everybody on board believe that they're gonna get something of it. Well, you're borrow more money, but you don't fix my street.
I'll go to
They're
the
gonna throw it
city.
back at you.
I'll go to the city council meeting this
They're
week.
gonna throw it back at you. This is your opportunity to take care of something.
So no problem about the ranchers, if they get mad or not.
Well, we'll address it. We've done a lot of ranches. We put a lot of material on a lot of county roads. And we've had some big fights on roads that don't wanna be open. You know,
That's what we need to start getting done.
I'm pretty sure the councilman will say yes. I mean, they've been pretty active, they've
I'm
been
gonna go to the
helpful.
meeting.
So I'm pretty sure they'll do this.
I know. Pretty good people.
so I mean, we can just table this item, but the thing is that we need to decide soon and come up with a
Because
plan.
the interlocal agreements are open already.
Yes, the interlocal are already done, we just need to get the final approval, but this is your chance to get some people that will never have paved streets, but it also increases the value of the properties. And spoke to the Oliva, I think there's ways to pave Full Street.
We can get it done. I mean, it won't take long, but, well, it's already been curved and everything. Just get a bid and hire it and get it.
If it's gonna be hot mix, that means they already got the equipment for it, which is the lay down machine and all that. We can't do it with,
No.
Or make two.
We're talking
But
about
it's
phones.
possible that's not done, but something else can be done, but I mean,
They already have a company to do it. We'll pay for it.
but it's,
It's a special.
Well, maybe you could pay half and half.
Huh?
Maybe.
Well, that's what we've been doing.
I mean, the city también, digo, throw a little bit there, no?
3/4.
So if they
Yeah,
don't
but
have, if they don't have the
see,
money,
the-
I need to get,
They just got 3 brand new trucks.
well, we get a lot of.
the city does not have the tax base that we do. And we've had a lot of meetings, we've had a lot of fights and we've done well as a county. We have a very good S&P rating. S&P rating is a global rating where in the whole world, we're rated as like a business, like a corporation. And we have a AA rating. And that rating changes if we start mismanaging or get, if we don't control our things here. Our audits have to be clean, and the auditors don't pick everything up. We had a problem with, the state on one of the old grants where we did, I think Mendiola Road over there, that Middle Rio didn't, provide the right information, so now the auditors have to go back and correct it, what has taken care of it. Auditors don't catch everything, but if we do find something, it's our duty to correct it. Once or twice a year, we go over cash balances. I'm asking you, pay attention, because we take a lot of time putting that together. I asked Jorge, I asked Mary, they give me the books, we review them, and there's a lot of numbers that go through it. Because that's the money that's available, and we're gonna have to do that to see how much money we have to take care of the final projects that we have. And the legal expenses, like I said, we recovered them from core. I saw some expenses that got charged to Stevenson. Well, there's still money in the Stevenson account. It's just putting them where they belong. It's nothing hard. And even with people that have a lot of experience, we still miss them. We still miss a lot of business. So we're not gonna take any action, it's fine, but we do need either that or have a joint meeting with the city of Cotula. And Ensenada is going good. Have you met with the mayor yet on the final project? Frank, you're here? Frank, you're here?
Yes.
Engineer.
Projects in Cincinnati.
When are you gonna have those plans ready?
For which one?
Ensenada,
Which project was that?
For
The streets.
the streets.
Paving the streets.
We paved some, well, we didn't pave them, we put some of that, millings on 2 of those streets. They were bad, so we fixed some on the streets, they're not. So I don't know, I was gonna talk to the mayor and maybe plan some other streets instead of burying that stuff that we just put in there. But those were dividing streets, all the ones we did were dividing streets, boundary between the city and the county. So it was just like the boundary area. except for south front, we added some loads when that rain came in and it flooded, so we put there, so from right in front of the pole, that was it.
My concern with the city, like, the millies are good, but they're not,
No, but they got a co-mix. Co-mix is good though. That's what we've been using. Instead of hot mix, the hot mix, you need a special machine to lay it out. This co-mix, you gotta maintain it. To me, it's.
That's what we did a long
It's
time.
not cheap, but it's good.
We did that, my neighborhood, we did it all like that, was all the neighborhoods.
The co-mix.
Co-mix.
Yeah, that's what I
I
mean.
mean, but if you can bid out coal-mix and make it look good to where it lasts, not where it falls
Yeah,
apart.
you put it
Not,
46
not
Like
where it
you-
lasts, but
like what-
it gives you the ability to get a lot of that done. The only problem is drainage. You know, you gotta make sure your drainage is done. Because, you know, otherwise you're getting complaints that the water's being backed up. But the whole goal is to just try to take care as much as possible. You know, because there won't be another chance. I mean, if you can pave, you know, a lot of Ensenada's great. There'll never be another chance.
And
For
this set is
Texas.
only for this year, or can it continue next year?
It's for next year.
It depends if there's more money that's gonna be available. I can't tell you what the legislature's gonna do. But,
So this money is for this year and next year you have to finish next year.
yes,
So we got time for that.
but, I still think hot mix is better, but, you know, it's,
Hot mix. Well, no,
mean,
the
it's
ones
up to
that are,
you.
the streets that been curved already, fine.
That one's easy.
Hmm?
That one's easy on that Bull Street. It's got a
That-
curve on both sides.
It was like Matamoros and Hidalgo and Saltillo, they already been curved. I did that coal mix, go with that.
But
Yeah,
you're
the
gonna
county
take-
in the
But you're gonna
back.
take that old material out,
Yeah,
so
we
it will
did.
be higher than the curve.
Yeah, we did. Just go check.
I think we need to break some weight.
huh?
I think we need to break some weight.
You wanna take a recess?
Yes, sir.
Or a motion to table? I mean, to break, what is? Not get anywhere on this, but if you wanna check with the city of Cotula and the city of Ensenada, I
I'll go to the
mean,
meeting.
Huh?
I'll put it in the agenda. I'll call the city council. See when we can get it put in the agenda.
and like I said, if you can use coal-mix some, but you got some high traffic areas that you may need to get hot mix
I don't like it, but.
around the school and stuff like that.
I put some of that co-mix in between, Mud Road and Carroll Road. 4 inches thick and big old 18-wheeler go through there. Still good. It's been there 2 years. Still real good.
Oh, you want it to last at least 5. That's how.
I mean, as long as you got a good surface on the bottom, it works. If it's all soft on the bottom, then it's gonna last. Got a good bottom, a good base.
All right. Well, let's just table, you wanna just table it and come back after you
Table
meet
it
with the
until we
city?
get-
Huh?
Let's table it until we, get with the city.
And that's the same with Jack, I mean, it's the same thing with Jack. Is there a motion?
Table.
Is there a second? Who's the second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now you want a break for
1:30.
1:30? All right. Is there a motion?
Okay. Oh, let's go. I thought it was 11.
1:30? Motion?
I'll second.
I make a
Who
motion.
made the motion? Ronnie.
No, no.
I'll second.
Okay. I think it's there.
Diabetes.
It's like 6 point something and we're gonna make it about 8 minutes. Yeah. I put it, it's in a schedule.
McDonald's, Happy Meal, está bien barato ahorita, Happy Meal.
From this one?
Yeah, mira.
You're gonna be 2 million.
Mira, quizás tú. See, here's the text dot.
This one.
I'll tell you how much it is.
Aquí está, Judge. No?
Yeah, the 7 million, and with the match,
Yeah,
it's 4 ways. It was about 10 million, about 2,500, 2,500,000 each. Pretty much about that.